Markets are reacting as President Trump's sweeping tariffs are taking effect. More than 90 countries are now facing duties between 10 and 41%, with Brazil facing 50% tariffs. And right now we're seeing the Dow up about 160. Chief economist at Numerator, Leo Fellow, is here with what all this means for the economy. So, Leo, what are you watching for today? And what do you make of how markets are reacting so far?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. So, listen, I think markets are a little bit over their skis. And, we're starting to see tariffs have a little bit of an impact on suppliers, on manufacturers, not yet on consumers. I think once tariffs start having an impact on consumers, consumers are much more likely to pull back. And then that will have a bigger impact on markets overall. But there's one thing that we have to keep in mind, right? The market is just not one monolithic entity. It includes companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft and Meta that are really benefiting from this AI boom. It's also going to include a lot of consumer-facing companies, and those are the ones that are likely to get more affected.
So explain what you mean by the markets are over their skis. You mean investors are dumb to be investing right now?
It's not that, right? It's that I think maybe investors are being hopeful that a lot of the tariff discussion is bluster, that the tariffs might go away. One very important thing to keep in mind here is that, let me read to you the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. The Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. The Congress shall have the power to regulate commerce with foreign nations. So there's always a possibility that the Supreme Court is going to step in and say, hey, look, all of these tariffs, they're not constitutional, right? They need to go away. And so I don't think it's the case that the markets are being naive. I think the markets might be very optimistic that this is just a temporary blip that's going to go away over time, because eventually the Supreme Court is likely to step in and say, these tariffs, they're not constitutional. And if not right now, maybe if there's a change later in the House in the midterm elections, then there might be a change in tariff policy thereafter.
How long until consumers start to feel the effects of these tariffs, and what will that look like day to day?
It takes a really long time. And I think economists have done a disservice to the American public by making it seem like tariffs are going to have an immediate impact. We never see an immediate impact on policy changes like this, right? Even if you look at the surge in consumer spending that happened coming out of the pandemic after the mass vaccinations, it took about 16 months before inflation peaked. Right now, what we should expect to see is that tariffs are going to have an impact initially on suppliers and manufacturers, and we're already seeing that, right? Companies like Ford, like Apple, like Procter and Gamble, are all saying that they're facing these revenue hits because of tariffs. They are the ones absorbing the cost right now. But they're also saying that they're going to have to pass on these costs to consumers eventually over time, right? And so we're likely to see higher costs coming into consumers as suppliers, as manufacturers renegotiate their contracts with retailers, and as they're then able to pass on higher prices to consumers.
All right, Leo Feller, thank you.